Hey, I'm Jay Kumar, the Bass Blaster, and this is your Seafoam Top 5 of the Week in Bass Fishing, number 1. Alton Jr. got the Chungus. Of course, that's Alton Jones Jr., who won the Chungus of all Chungus tournaments, the MLF Heavy Hitters event in Louisiana, and he won it by 59 pounds. It was a count 'em all tournament, and the minimum scoreable size was bigger for heavy hitters, and he for sure was on them. But not really at first. It was a 2-lake deal. The first part was on Caney Lake, and he kind of squeezed by there sight fishing, which, hey, his dad, Alton Jones Sr, is one of the best sight fishermen of all time, so maybe he learned a few things from dad. That got him to Bussy Break, the big fish factory. So when he got to Bussy, he had an idea he was going to do something a little bit different, and he started off flipping a G-crack or G-crack bellow shad that he actually designed. And when the wind got up, he started fishing a Booyah Covert Series spinnerbait with the same bellow shad trailer and just cleaned up on them. He also moved from the willow trees to the cypress trees for the spinnerbait bite, and that was his second Major League Fishing victory in 2 years. Pretty good. So to recap, he was catching chunguses with his Kistler Chungus rods.
Chungus on the Chungus.
And he got the Heavy Chungus Heavy Hitters title belt.
And that's the end.
That's just the end of number 1, Bugs. Number 2. Who's the sledgehammer? Not this guy.
Oh, no, don't do that! No.
It's this guy, Luke Palmer, who won his first blue trophy at the Bassmaster Elite Series event on Santee Cooper, and he won it by 14 pounds and somehow was the only guy to weigh a limit all 4 days at Santee Cooper. He finished 4th at the Elite Series there last year, doing just about the exact same thing in a very similar place, which was flipping for spawners or sight fishing for spawners, and he used the exact same bait. It was a Yum woolly bug in the hard to find Virgo red color. That color is a black smoke laminate with a lot of big red flake in the smoke side and less and smaller blue flake in the black. Luke said he liked it better in the slightly brownish water where he was fishing, and he likes the fact that the woolly bug doesn't fall straight down, but it kind of glides down. Now, it's a hard to find color, so if you want that bait in that color, it looks like you better go to lurenet.com and get them before they're out of stock. Big congrats to him, and if you're wondering about that sledgehammer deal, there you go. Number 3. Matt Robertson has been on him. Well, of course he has, with his on 'em hats and the fur coats at the Classic and all that stuff. But I'm talking about fishing this year. I mean, come on, you don't qualify for the Bassmaster Elite Series by being a flashy dude that's a pretty good angler or even a good angler. You got to be a really, really good fisherman to get on that tour, and he is. This year he seems to be doing a little bit better, leading a few tournaments, a few days, and also fishing big baits for big bites. And here's what he said about it. I asked him. He said, yeah, it's kind of going back to what he used to do, swinging for the fences. Now, that can be a risky deal in the pros because it's so important to make the championships, and then you got to fish for points, and to keep food on the table, you got to fish for checks. But Matt says, he's had enough of that. He's just fishing to win now. So big swim baits and top waters have played a lot so far because of the time of year, and he's comfortable with those baits. And he said it's just a matter of time before he connects 5 bites a day, big bites a day, over 4 days and gets a win. He also said this advice from his friend Reese was key this year.
Always remember, if you ain't first, you're last.
You knew I had to drop that one in there. Number 4. A couple weeks ago, we talked about yellow baits and how they're way underrated, or I talked about it anyway. Well, last week, Randy Howell finished 4th in the heavy hitters event, and one of the baits he fished was his Livingston Howler Plus crankbait in the color Yellow Craw. Why? Well, he said it goes back to all the OG North Carolina master crankbait fishermen he grew up fishing against. Guys like Gerald Beck, David Wright, Jeff Coble, of course David Fritz, and the guy that Fritz said was the best he's ever seen, Jerry Lohr. They all fished yellows. Jerry's crankbait company, I'm not sure if it's still around, I don't think so, but it produced baits with a lot of yellow, and even David Fritz, with his new line of Berkeley Fritz-side crankbaits, has some yellow or yellow gold colors in there. David actually said back in the day that he actually likes shades of yellow, like gold and brown, better for spring cranking than red. So have we forgotten about how good yellow is? Well, Randy thinks so, and he said he tried a lot of other colors at Caney Lake, but the only one they choked was the yellow. So let's give it a shot, man. Number 5. Crappie baits for big bass? Well, yep, it happens all the time, but mostly by accident, like this guy's 11-pounder caught somewhere in Louisiana while he was crappie fishing with a Bobby Garland jig. But at least one time it did happen on purpose in a major tournament, and that was Paul Mueller on Lake Lanier, Georgia a few years back. He said he was fishing the exact same baits that he fished for crappie back home in Connecticut, so there's proof that it works and it can be done, but why does it work? Well, Z-Man, the originators of course, the Ned rig, the already small Ned rig, just came out with a line of even smaller baits, micro baits maybe, for crappie and also for bass. And they appear to work for bass. Why? Well, they said that studies of largemouth and smallmouth bass stomach contents showed that most of the stuff in there was small, like insect larvae and little crayfish. Z-Man also said that little baits, quote, rarely fail to get strikes even on the toughest days because bass detect fewer negative cues as bait size shrinks. That makes sense. If you're reluctant to try it though,
Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose.
dang, sometimes those local tackle shop guys are intense. That's all I got for you this week. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Seafoam. Go to BassBlaster.com or .rocks to sign up for the juicy Bass Blaster email. See you next week. God bless you.